The Suburban Nightmare, Mrs. Eleanor, the Pet Killer. When I moved into my quiet suburban home with my wife and toddler, I thought we had found paradise. Our neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor, was the perfect elderly neighbor. She baked cookies, volunteered at the church, and even offered to watch our cat, Buster. Kitchen knife, the pattern of cruelty. 6 months into living there, things started to feel deeply wrong. It began with small incidents. The Johnsons' dog started limping. The Williams family found their rabbit dead. Mrs. Thompson's cat went missing, then showed up with a broken leg and strange burns on its fur. People blamed wild animals, but I noticed Eleanor always seemed to know about these incidents before anyone else. Then it happened to us. My 3-year-old daughter Emma's rabbit, Snowball, went missing overnight. Eleanor knocked on our door that morning with fresh muffins, expressing her sorrow about the little bunny friend. Even though we hadn't told anyone. That weekend, Buster came home dragging his back legs, whimpering. The vet confirmed he had been poisoned with a chemical that burned his throat and stomach. The chemical burns on his paws looked deliberate. Movie camera, the evidence. I installed security cameras. 3 nights later, at 2 a.m., I caught Eleanor on video. She was sneaking into our backyard, wearing gloves, and scattering raw meat covered in white powder around Snowball's empty hutch. I called the police, but the initial officer was dismissive. I decided to dig deeper. I found old newspaper archives online from the towns where Eleanor had lived before. A pattern emerged. Waves of unsolved pet poisonings. In one town, 37 pets died mysteriously during her residency. I presented this evidence to the police. 2 weeks later, my camera caught her dragging a heavy garbage bag into her garage. I called 911, screaming that she had someone's pet. Cold-faced the confession. When the police arrived with a warrant, Eleanor answered the door in her nightgown, acting confused. Inside her freezer, the detectives found the horrific truth. Dozens of Ziploc bags labeled with pet names and dates. Whiskers, March 15th. Jars containing animal organs floating in formaldehyde. A notebook documenting the chemicals she used and their effectiveness. When confronted, Eleanor didn't deny it. She stood calmly and said she'd never liked animals, calling them liars who manipulated people. The detective asked why she specifically targeted children's pets. She looked him dead in the eye and said, "Because grief builds resilience. These kids were too soft." Eleanor was quietly taken to a psychiatric facility, and the court documents were sealed. The entire neighborhood was left stunned, and some families moved away in the months that followed.